Alright, welcome back to Hapymaher. I'm going to give in, guys. We're going to chase after Maya. The one thing we've been trying not to do the entire game, we've been trying to avoid falling into her nightmare. We're just going to give in. We're just going to do it. And see where that takes us, because why not? We love our sister. We want to know what happened to her. So let's find out what happened to her. Maybe we'll get some answers if we embrace her. The one who popped in my head just then was... Did Alice? No, it wasn't Alice. Even though I want to go down Alice's route. We're going to do that after. We're going after Maya. The one who interested me the most was the person right in front of me. Maya giggled as if she knew who it was. It's not the way that you're thinking of. I answered bluntly, but Maya doesn't seem to mind. She shifted her position on my lap. Why, Maya? For someone who disappeared a long time ago to appear in front of me at a time like this, there was no way I could think of anyone else. Wow, okay, a little confident. Maya sat on my lap like a child, but I could barely feel any weight to her. Yeah, we knew that a long time ago. Why wouldn't I be interested? No, I thought I'd never see you again. I mean, after all, you're already... I couldn't finish what I was about to say. There was nothing wrong with saying it, but I was scared. What if, just what if Maya was actually... It made me consider that possibility. And if I denied that possibility, here she might disappear. This was downright creepy. If you thought about it sensibly, it was impossible. Oh gosh, am I gonna enjoy this? I feel like this is gonna be a bunch of gaslighting and bringing up trauma and... Oh no. I hope it's not too bad. But for disappearing, the fact that Maya was still able to meet with us, Maya, who had been joyfully fixing my collar and pinching the ends of my hair, looked at me as she heard my voice. Just what are you? I'm probably just as you're imagining. Ah, you're so vague. What do you mean? You're making it sound like things happen just because I want them to. No, I got a lot of shit in my life that happens even though I don't want it to. Though she asked like a question Maya definitely knew. She was saying that things happen because I wanted them to, and she knew that. The reason I asked is not because I wished for it, it's because I don't understand you. I don't know, Toru. What answer are you looking for? Saying that I want you to tell me the truth. I feel like this is not the first time you've probably said something like that. Maya closed her eyes, but her mouth was still smiling as she tapped her chin with a finger. Oh gosh. Like, is this all a ploy for her to, like, take over somebody? Like, take over their body? She grinned. That's impossible. Or so that's what the rational half of my mind wanted to say. My body and my throat trembled. My feelings wanted it to be true. You're lying. I managed to squeeze it out, but Maya was still smiling. Because you... I couldn't say anything more, not with Maya smiling at me right here on my lap. Okay, so I'm getting the feeling that Maya is going to somehow manifest herself in reality. The way she's kind of saying that almost makes me think like she's going to take over somebody's body. Like that's how she's going to kind of get it out of the dream world. But I think we're going to... I'm hoping, at least in this route, that we, like, come to terms with things. Like, either she's able to come out of that forest. I think that would be a nice way to kind of end this. Or at least get some idea of what happened. Because I just, to me, it seems like it was some kind of supernatural force that kept her in the forest. Because, and I keep mentioning this, I just don't know for sure, but I don't think they found a body. So maybe we can save Maya. Maybe by embracing Maya, we can be the ones who save her, not in her mind the other way around. Anyways, didn't see anything more, not with my smiling right here. Just by being here like this, it made me think that what I thought was true was a lie, and that she was really alive. If this was the lie, then it was a terrible joke. And we already kind of know that this Maya is a little bit of an imposter. I don't know what they mean by that, but there was the whole thing with the other Alice. I don't know, somebody was kind of... I don't know if it was Alice posing as other people or if it was somebody posing as Alice. Uh, I didn't quite fully grasp that, but clearly something else was going on there. So there's somebody else involved. I just don't know who that is. I had sworn that I wouldn't meet her again. I decided that I had been finally able to accept that. I reached out to her, took her hand in mine, squeezed it. She squeezed back. It was a little cold and thin, but it was the hand of the Maya I knew. The three of us could be together again. I am kind of hoping that Maya, in a way, actually isn't dead, and that we're able to like kind of save her. That might be something they save for the true ending. I don't know. Maybe this is going to be like some alternative, like kind of compromise instead of like actually saving her. Maybe we're compromising by being in a dream. Maybe somehow she manifests herself in reality to all the people that do know her in the dreams, and then we just kind of accept that. So we kind of have the best of both worlds. Maya's there again, but she doesn't really exist for other people. I don't know. I honestly have no idea where they're going to go with this, but I hope we get a few answers at least. I wanted to believe that sort of impossible delusion. I don't know, there's a lot of things wrong. I'm just gonna be honest with you, Maya, there's a lot of things wrong here. Maya called out to me just like she used to. A deep dark forest appeared in front of me. It was the forest I wandered in my nightmares. There were no paths to follow, just grass and trees. I walked forward, stumbling and becoming covered with dirt. The hand that I had felt, just like the hand from my nightmares. I couldn't look back. She could speak, but she wasn't really there. If she was, she should have. We should have been able to come back together. The reply from behind me was like a giggle. But was that really the sound of Maya laughing? Could it have been the sound of the wind, or the sound of rustling leaves, or just me hearing things? Even so, I continued to walk tightly, holding Maya's hand. Relying on the laughter coming from behind me and the feel of her touch, I walked through the dark forest. We couldn't go back if I didn't. Can I skip? No, I can't. Ooh. With a quiet click, the door was unlocked and Saki entered Toru's apartment. It was a little later than when she usually came. Normally, he would have finished getting ready for school by now, but he was still in bed sleeping. Uh-oh, we still can't skip. That's not good. Placing the convenience store bag with the breakfast she had bought on the way here on the table, she approached the bed. I wonder if we're going to have a repeat of what happened before after, she first didn't come back. She suddenly noticed the items scattered at her feet. The alarm clock, which should have been at Toru's bedside, had fallen to the floor and stopped making noise. A book, a portable game console, and the glasses he usually wore. Toru seemed to have been searching for his glasses. His arm was outstretched as if he was reaching towards the bedside. Saki tried to shake him awake, but the moment she touched him, she could tell he was much too warm. I love how they cut off the music right there. Like, oh shit, like things are not good. Put her hand to his forehead, and she could immediately tell that he had a fever. Toru's physical condition was directly linked to his dreams. The nightmares he saw when he caught a cold were particularly bad and drained him of his strength. She needed to get him to the hospital, but just as Saki took out her phone to call her house and have them send a car or taxi, Maya. I... Hearing that name, old feelings disappeared from Saki's face for a moment. Toru was trying to grab something, but there was nothing in his hand.
Toru-chan.
Saki, however, was unable to take his hand. Saki could only look down at his face. With Toru having a nightmare in front of her, she couldn't move. Even though there was plenty of things she could have done, she was unable to act. The sound of him moaning brought her back to her senses. What had she been thinking just now? Why had she stopped? There was no response. Moving her frozen body, Saki called her house. Her voice was stiff and mechanical. It resembled the voice she used when calming Toru down when he woke up from a nightmare. She couldn't take Toru's hand until he woke up. I think that's really cool that she's not holding his hand. I'm wondering if holding his hand is part of like kind of replacing her, and she can't do that right now. Sorry, I'm gonna skip over that one too. And again, I found myself in this room as I fell asleep. Can I skip? Okay. Have to resist, right? We resist? I didn't think of anyone. I think I've gone past this before too. Alright, we chase after Maya. That's what we do, of course. We're definitely not chasing after any blue skies this episode. Not even sparing a glance at the keys that flew at me, I left and reached for Maya. Maya sounded surprised for once, certain that I would be able to catch her, reached out my hand. But... so I think I've already seen this scene. So, unfortunately, I won't be showing it again. I did show it in one of the previous videos. I don't know if it was 2 videos ago. So I won't be looking at it again. I do know what happens here. And I cannot show it anyways, so we're just gonna leave that. Well, I'm gonna pause it. I'll go ahead and no, I'm just gonna skip it. I did already show it. I'm sorry. I know that breaks some continuity, but and then I believe I choose Saki here. In case it's something I thought of. And then we skip. Okay, what do I do here though? That's not it. Okay. No, it's just I feel bad for Saki. Okay, where is this gonna take me? This is the last decision. Ah, what an ordeal. Oh, am I gonna have to censor more? I moved away from the others and was now sitting halfway out of the water to cool myself down a little. So this is new, it says. Though my torso was above the water. Yep. Jeez, why did this happen? I leaned against the side and limply looked up at the sky. Why had this happened? Because I didn't choose the blue sky option. I couldn't understand why there had been a dream like this when Maya had already disappeared. Were we still in a dream, or was this reality? Normally I never would have thought this might have been reality, but when we went to sleep, we'd go to that dream room. There was one more thing I've been wondering about ever since that dream in the forest ended. Was Maya really gone for good? Every now and then, every so often ever since Christmas Eve, I would feel like there was someone else around, someone who wasn't one of us. I first felt that presence when I was reunited with Maya in that room, when I had to be saved by Alice. I'd occasionally felt it since then. I looked in the direction in which I felt the presence, but there was no one there. I figured it was Maya spying on us, but it never really felt like her. It was a gaze that emitted both enjoyment and jealousy. Maya, are you there? The voice suddenly came from behind me. Ah, I see. That's right. I didn't even have to turn around to know that was Maya. I'm assuming there's going to be loot. I knew it. Somewhere deep inside me, I fully expected this. Ever since I saw her ring attached to my phone, I didn't believe in the slightest I had been able to shake Maya off. Yeah, her ring did appear just randomly on our phone, didn't it? Excuse me. Arms came around my neck from behind. A scent of roasted honey mingling with the smells of that forest found its way to my nose. I can only imagine if I kept smelling this over and over, I'd be so sick of this smell. Not to mention all the trauma that comes with it, just the smell itself. Yeah, there's no way you would disappear from me that easily.
だってお兄ちゃん、私がいなきゃ寂しいでしょ
It's unfortunate, like, some of the scenes, like, saying goodbye to Maya, like, that's something that you technically see over and over, like, going through this. So it's not like there's just this continuity of us just seeing these scenes and then coming to this point. I mean, obviously I could go reread them, but I feel like the emotional impact's already kind of gone. So I have to kind of just read only the new scenes. Maya giggled into my ear. I guess I would.
そうよ。だからずっと一緒にいてあげるの。
Practically nothing without you, Maya. I did everything I could to accept that you were gone.
頑張ってるお兄ちゃんも素敵だし好きよ。だけど私はこうして頼ってくれる方が好きかしら。
I don't know, I feel like that's kind of toxic, though. I don't know. But then again, I don't know if this really is Maya. Like he kind of says up here. I figured it was Maya spying on us, but it never really felt like her. I don't know, he calls out to Maya like it is her, but then he says stuff like that. Like, all the characters kind of say something like, it's not really her, you know? I squeezed Maya's hand. It made me so happy that I felt like I was about to cry. Like, I wonder if that's intentional, where he kind of acknowledges, like, hey, the gaze doesn't feel like Maya, but then he calls out to Maya like it is Maya. Like he's kind of delusional in the sense that he's just kind of pretending that it is Maya, even though it's in his, you know, in his heart, he knows it isn't. I don't know if that's like an intentional thing, or if it is supposed to be Maya. I don't know. I kind of don't know if it is. I do think that somebody's manipulating things behind the scenes. I just don't know who that is. I wonder if they're gonna pull like a, oh, it's one of the characters you've always been with kind of thing. I think I've talked about that before at some point, but I wonder if it's gonna be one of the other characters. Maybe so happy that I felt like I was about to cry. I don't know, because the only other character that's gotten like some kind of big costume change was Yayoi. I wonder if they're gonna pull some shit with Yayoi. She had that really cool outfit that I liked, and then she's the only one that like kind of took power away from Maya. I don't know. If I had to put my money on any other character being like a secret mastermind, I would put my money on Yayoi. And I say that as someone who really likes Yayoi. I wonder if I'm hopeless now.
なんでそんなことを言うの
Because of all the things I did, all the trouble I caused everyone, I thought I freed myself of you. And yet I'm happy that you're here with me. I mean, they could pull like a, oh yeah, Alice is... They could pull something with Alice too. I could see that being a twist. Because there is a little bit of inconsistencies between the girl we met in the hospital and Alice herself. I think they're kind of setting her up to be... I don't know. They're setting her up to be kind of a love interest in that girl, so I don't know if they would pull something like, oh yeah, the Alice you've seen is actually a different Alice than the one in the hospital. I don't know. I'm just overthinking things at this point, because I'm getting so close to the end, and I'm so eager. I'm happy that you're here with me.
どうしてそれがダメなのお兄ちゃんは私を大事にしたくないの
Of course I do. I do care about you, but maybe I shouldn't.
おかしなお兄ちゃんどうして辛い方に行きたがるのかしら思えばいいのよここは夢の中なんだから
Maya's voice sounded a little sad.
私はお兄ちゃんとずっと一緒にいるそれだけを願ってくれれば一緒にいられるのよ
But here's the thing, though. He doesn't want you to stay with him forever. That's not what he's wanted this entire time. He's wanted to walk and hold your hand, you know, coming out of the forest. That's what he wanted. And all the dreams in the world apparently won't make that happen. But that's what he ultimately wants, and I don't know what it's going to take for him to achieve that. If I do that, then I'll
俺は何？
end up leaving Saki and the others behind. I don't want that. I'm wondering why there's no, like, CG here. Maybe they didn't, like, make us CG for her nude, you know?
大
Oh,
丈夫よ。
there they did. Maya gave a brilliant smile.
間に合わないから。
Because it's already too late.
まだ戻れると思っていたの？だとしたらとんでもない勘違いだわ。
So I reached out towards me, something dripped from her arm. The moment it hit the water, a sickeningly sweet aroma filled the air around me.
お兄ちゃんはとっくに戻れなくなってるの。なのにまだ帰れないところの心配をするの？
I can't go back.
もうここまで来ちゃっているもの。せめて誰かを好きになればなんとかできたかもしれないけれど。お兄ちゃんは私しか愛せない。好きになれない。普通だったらそれでも一人寂しく生きていくことはできたわ。だけどお兄ちゃんは私に会いに来ることができちゃうんだもの。
I kind of hope that he gains his memories from, like, some of the other routes. And hits her with the, actually, I've loved many other people. I don't just need you. You've been manipulating me this entire time. I really hope they keep doing that, because they've had a few moments where he's like, oh shit, I've done this over and over, and I've been failing. Like, he's had a few moments of recognition of the things he's done. And Maya herself, or, you know, I don't know if this is Maya, but has said that, you know, I've erased your memories. I really hope they keep playing into that aspect, because that was the part that really interested me. I really like this idea of, like, this kind of, I don't know, would you call that a multiverse? Like, we're into the Toru-verse of Toru's making decisions and trying to get out of this endless loop of dreams. Okay, we're in it. Okay, we were into the Toru-verse, and now we're gonna be across the Toru-verse.
それでも諦められる？
I still haven't seen those movies. I really need to watch them. But Saki helped me.
もらったけれど振り切れなかったじゃない。
Everyone pulled me up.
もらったけれど諦めきれなかったじゃない。
Maya, with you, I couldn't.
私のことを？
I couldn't give up on you. I always wanted you to be with me.
私もよ。お兄ちゃん。
Maya clung to me happily. I couldn't refuse her. Instead, I hugged her back, lost my balance, and sank in the water. I'll say I unfortunately cannot show this. I'm gonna have to censor it a little bit, but it's a very interesting little CG here. Instead of hitting the bottom, I kept sinking, my arm still holding Maya. A dream of sinking, deep into the watery abyss. Light gradually vanished as darkness overtook us. I could feel Maya in my arms again. I could never let her go again. It had become as dark as night. The light of the surface moved further and further away. But I was with her. Maya clung to me like a cat, her cheek rubbed against my neck. I hugged her back tightly.
ずっと一緒なのね。
Yeah, together. Curious thought came to my mind. As long as I didn't have to let go, I wouldn't mind sinking like this. Chapter 8, Good Night.
お兄ちゃん。お兄ちゃん。
Okay, hopefully I can get rid of this text box. This better not be like, oh, I think the lewd scene's over, and then immediate lewd scene. Along with that voice, a gentle shake woke me up. Oh, perfect. Slowly opened my eyes. Maya was trying to wake me
ど
up.
うしたのお兄ちゃん。
It's just bright. I felt strangely refreshed. It used to be more unpleasant for me to wake up.
よかった。もう大丈夫なのね。
I feel bad that I can't show that CG because it really completes like how he feels. Like he's kind of drifting into this darkness that's always kind of consumed him. And I wonder if in a way we're gonna be happy. Like if things are just gonna be really happy now that we've kind of embraced Maya. Because I feel like no matter which route we were in, there was always this kind of emptiness that comes from not having Maya. Like, no matter what we do, I don't think we could quite get rid of that trauma unless there was some kind of resolution towards it. And I just don't know if any route besides Maya, or maybe the true end, would give us that. So, let's go ahead and see how things go. Better? What do you mean? I sat up in bed. I did it slowly, but the headache and dizziness I'd grown accustomed to didn't happen. Yeah, see, now he feels a little bit healthier.
だってお兄ちゃん昨日まで寝込んでたじゃない。だから心配になって様子見に来たんだけど。
Eh? I was bedridden.
昨日なんてずっとうなされてて覚えてない？
I was. So we're just gonna be gaslit into believing that nothing was, this is gonna be like kind of a continuation of how we were slowly losing grasp of reality, like the reality where she didn't come back was a dream. Okay, I see maybe where they're going with this. I mean, not unexpected.
よっぽど辛い思いをしてたのね。
I vaguely remembered something. It was mostly fuzzy.
だからお兄ちゃんは一日中寝てたのよ。私が面倒見に泊まりに来てたんだけど、覚えてないかしら。
And to think of it, why was Maya waking me up in the morning? It makes sense if she had been here since yesterday. I see. Now that you mention it, I get the feeling that it did
覚
happen.
えてないのね。まあ無理もないわ。ほとんどずっとぼーっとしてたんだもの。それで今日は起きられるの？無理そうならまだ寝てた方がいいと思うけど。
No, it's okay. I felt really refreshed.
そう、よかった。じゃあ普通にご飯の用意しちゃって大丈夫ね。
Freaking, I wish I had a little sister growing up that made me breakfast. So, just accept it. Yeah, there's nothing wrong. No blue skies. No Yayuis. No Keikos. No Alice. Yeah, this is perfectly fine. This is reality. You got a cute little sister who makes you breakfast in the morning. Yeah, nothing wrong. I smiled and started to move away from the bed before suddenly kissing me. Whoa!
何？そんなに驚いた顔して。それじゃもうちょっと待っててね。
Apparently, in this stream, we live in Alabama. Maya moved away like that was completely normal and went to the kitchen. Stunned, I got out of bed. The kiss was unexpected, but so was the fact my body and head were light and clear. It was an extremely refreshing morning. From the window Maya had opened came a pleasant but chilly winter breeze. I'm wondering if it's a part of the dream that's making him feel like so refreshed, or if he's just finally embracing that hole in his heart and like Maya is the only thing that fills that. I wonder if he just feels at peace now that he's like kind of finally giving into the thing that he's always been missing. I don't know. The sky was clear and there's no sign of rain, so there's a blue sky. I do wonder though, in this route, is this going to have like, just an ending? Like kind of a happy ending where he's just with Maya and they just kind of ride off into the sunset? Or is this gonna have some kind of ending that's like we get saved or something, or like we realize something and we can't accept it anymore? I wonder if they're gonna pull a twist or if it's just gonna be kind of a more happy thing, because I kind of want them to progress like Toru understanding more about what happened. I'm okay, I guess, if they save that for the true ending. If they just like, hey, we're gonna just explain everything and then do that, I don't know. I don't know where they're going with this. I heard the chirping of sparrows and the sound of newspaper delivery motorbike. It was a perfectly normal
そう
morning.
だ、今のうちにシャワー浴びちゃったら。昨日ずっと寝てたし汗臭いわよ。もうどうしたのお兄ちゃん。
In the kitchen, I hugged Maya from behind. Maya.
はいはい、何？
I felt so happy that Maya was at my side. I wondered
ど
why.
うしたの急に。でもないか。
Maya brushed my hands away and turned to face me. My little sister, who was a whole head shorter than me, looked up at me.
もしかしてさっきのキスでその気になっちゃった？
No. It smelled something sweet. I didn't know if it was Maya's perfume or her shampoo. It was a sweet smell like honey and it made me dizzy. Okay, so is he noticing something right now?
昨日からずっとお兄ちゃんの匂いのする部屋で一緒にいて、こっちだって我慢してたんだけど。
Here she is having lewd thoughts, and this smell is coming back. I wonder if this is going to remind us of something. Because I feel like even though we kind of gave in, I wonder if, like, because we've done this so many different variations, like, if some of that, danger sense kind of is leaking in.
誰が着替えるときに汗を拭いてあげたか、もう忘れたの？
Because I feel like if we fully embraced Maya right now, like, if nothing was wrong, we wouldn't notice this. I feel like this is always an indication that, you know, to Toru, that, like, something's going on.
弱ってるお兄ちゃんってば可愛いんだもの。そのままいつもみたいにエッチしたくなるくらい。
Maya gave me a slightly embarrassed smile, like always. When she said that, it didn't feel out of place. It was something we always did. As soon as I realized that, this might be a strange thing to say, but
何かしら？
I want you. Maya had always been with me. She was close enough that I could reach out and touch her. No. She was far enough away that I had to reach out to touch her, and realizing that made me feel lonely.
病み上がりなのに？うん、病み上がりだからなのかしら？
Maya gave a resound shrug.
学校遅れちゃうけどいいの？
We go to school every
私だ
day.
ってこれからずっと一緒にいるけど。
That's right, we're going to be going together. But for some reason, I felt like it wouldn't be forever, causing my chest to tighten painfully. Right now, you're more important to me.
ほんと、しょうがないお兄ちゃんなんだから。
Maya shrugged in
いいわよ。
annoyance.
私も我慢してたし、
She
一
giggled.
緒になろ。
Alright, we're going to continue from here. Obviously, an H scene just happened. Over and over, Toro poured all of his lust and desires into Maya. When it was finally over, his exhaustion seemed to have caught up to him, and he fell asleep. On the disheveled bed, Maya sat with Toro's head on her lap, gently stroking his head. But there was something different about her. I love that, like, immediately from, like, the time we get into this, we kind of, like, are trying to convince ourselves that there's nothing wrong. Like, everything just feels so out of place. Like, oh, we woke up and we feel great. This isn't what I'm used to. Like, there's this uncanniness going on, like, from the beginning. I really like how they're doing this. I hope they're going somewhere soon with it. I'm wondering, like, if we're gonna just reject this dream, even though we're the ones who finally accepted it, right? Like, I wonder if by this point, and all the experiences we've had leading up to this, if we just can't accept it anymore. And all the other versions of us that, like, fought so hard against this are telling us this is wrong. Something different about her.
可愛い顔しちゃって。
She brushed his cheek. Her expression looked the same as it always did. Calm, collected, in control. It's almost like the tears and cries from earlier never even happened.
あんな夢中になっちゃって。確かに抵抗しなかったし、ちょっと気持ちよくなるようにはしたけど、もうちょっと抑えめにして意地悪にしてあげた方が私らしかったかしら。
Interesting that you say that. A little more like the real Maya. This is a sister that Toru had imagined, and this is the sort of dream she had created so he could be honest with his feelings. That was what allowed him to be able to have the violent, passionate sex that they had.
どうせ終わらないし、その気になれば好きなところから何度でもやり直せるわけだものね。
The surrounding scenery began to melt away. Oh. So this is interesting. I feel like we've had a perspective change here. This isn't Toru's dream. This is her dream. This is her trying to be who she thinks she wants to be. Like she's not trying to really be Maya. Like she acknowledged like Maya would have been a little bit more mean and a little more playful, and she just kind of gave into these desires. Maya didn't even have to snap her fingers. This wasn't Toru's apartment in the first place. Here in the original dream world, Maya wore her usual dream dress, and Toru the usual uniform he had on in
お兄
dreams.
ちゃん分かってたはずなのに、私と一緒にいるのはいられるのはここだけだって。
Gentle breeze blew past them. It was a dark, dense forest in the middle of the night. They were in a clearing surrounded by blooming flowers. Sitting in the center of it, Maya's dress almost made her look like she was one of those flowers. Resting with his head on the hem of her skirt, Toru continued to sleep. No signs of pain or discomfort on his face.
ほんと幸せそうなんだから。
Maya poked his cheek gently. Toru didn't even let out a groan. Almost looked like he was unconscious rather than sleeping. Maya continued to poke his cheek and stroke his hair before letting out a small
こ
sigh.
れだけ幸せそうならいいのかしら。もうここから出られないのに。
No, that wasn't right. For example, just like the first time, and the time he was here with Maya, if Toru decided that he wanted to leave this place, then he could. If he wanted to, if that could even happen, then there was nothing she could do to stop him. Dreams couldn't overturn reality. Toru would always be able to leave the forest. And that meant that no matter what, Maya couldn't, even in a dream. So having come this far, Toru would surely not be able to return from this
いつ
forest.
か私に飽きて忘れてくれれば出ていけるのかしら。
I don't know. They keep acting like Maya's an imposter, so I keep thinking of her as an imposter. Like, is this the real Maya? Is it only fake because it's a dream? Maya let out a small sigh, like it was no big deal, but it was a sigh with a faint glimmer of hope. They were now outside the cyclical, repeating dream. Maybe now it could end. But neither Toru nor Maya could return from here. There's no way for them to redo anything.
きりか。
Toru was surely having a happy dream, having forgotten everything. Because if he didn't, he couldn't possibly be happy. But Maya remembered everything. Though she didn't mind, after all, she was dead. And
お
so,
兄ちゃんはきっと思い出したら壊れちゃうわね。
she giggled, but even to herself it sounded hollow. I'm really trying to come to terms with whether she is dead or not. Like, is this the outside world, and she just kind of exists here among the flowers, but like, she's not alive, and then he's just kind of living in the dream world. I don't know. Giggled, but even to herself it
ど
sounded
うし
hollow.
て私を選んだの？本当にバカなんだから。
Toru didn't answer, but his face looked more peaceful than it had ever looked since Maya died. So,
大丈夫。いつまでも私が一緒にいてあげるから。
the honey-like scent of the flowers, the aroma of dense forests, smells of the wind, the moonlight, the shadows of the trees, the light, the stars that spilled out from between the clouds, and the dimly lit garden known only to the two of them. Toru continued to sleep. So they're not ending it here, are they? What? Okay, so they're definitely saving more for the the true end here. They gotta be. Though I can't complain about how they did that. I did like that a lot. I do like when they kind of keep things short, but kind of like ambiguous. Like, oh, what does this mean, you know? And then they kind of are saving it for more of the true end. I also like here how, if you notice, we're going down. We just went down. Yeah? Hmm. We went down deeper into the water until it was dark. And now this is gradually going darker. Oh, I'm just so excited for the true end now. I don't know. There's probably going to be something after this, I'd imagine. I don't think they're just going to end it there for Maya's little section. I don't know. Would they do that? I feel like if they were going to do that, they would have put a to be continued. Like they did with the Alice part. Gosh, I want to skip over this so bad, but I don't know if they're going to show something here. Like, look how dark it is now. I think that's really cool that they're doing this. It's almost implying like, oh, we're gonna go down and save him. You know, like something's gonna save him. I just wondered though, is Maya really dead? Like they said like, hey, Maya's dead, right? But I don't know. Maybe she just feels dead. Maybe she just feels like she's gone. They're giving us a little ending there. Is there not going to be more? There's not going to be more. Okay. I'm just done. Well, that was only 40 minutes. I finished that whole thing. Hell yeah. You know what we're going to do, boys? All right, just to make sure I get there. I think we start. Okay, we start. Skip the selection. This isn't me. Nope, that ain't me. For some reason, I saw that I'm gonna make this in the next video. Anyways, guys, we're gonna be selecting this little option next video. Of course, I'm gonna record this right after, but I think I want to leave this. I want to leave my thoughts on this in this video, and we're jumping straight into it in the next one. Whoa, we're doing the thing, guys. I'll see you next episode.